Yes!
If you watch my past videos, I'm for certain you have some awareness of how I obsess over the Horus Lease. It may not be all the rage of PvP or anybody's go-to weapon, especially based off the archetype that it's in, but I've always been a fan of the faster firing pulse rifles, and I grinded the Corrupted Strike every time it was one of the weekly Nightfall strikes just to get one of the best rolls on this weapon that I possibly could get. Now at the time I recorded this video, I uploaded it to my YouTube channel and privatized it with plans to publicize it when the Corrupted Strike is one of the 3 weekly Nightfall strikes again. So if you're watching this video, that means that the Corrupted Nightfall is back during the week that this video goes live, and I hope that this provides enough insight and knowledge to what role you should look for to obtain an amazingly rolled Horus Lease. Be advised that this guide is in regards to what perks to look for a Horus Lease for PvP. I personally never saw the 540 RPM pulse rifles as viable in PvE, so I definitely won't be saying much or anything about this weapon's performance in PvE, but without further ado, let's get it in. Like all weapons that don't allow you to change the sights, the Horus Lease has barrel perks instead, which have jurisdiction over its range, stability, and handling. Then you have your magazine perks and the 2 trait perks. Over the course of this video, I discuss the best perks first, then the less optimal ones afterward. I'll be using light.gg as my guide, and if you've never heard of light.gg, click the link in the description box. This is an amazing website that shows you every perk that can roll on every available weapon in Destiny 2. So starting off with the magazine perks, the ones that stand out the most are Chambered Compensator, Arrowhead Brake, and Extended Barrel. If you go to light.gg and mouse over the barrel perks, the box that pops up will actually show you the point gains you get from each barrel. Arrowhead Brake, Chambered Compensator, and Extended Barrel are the 3 best options because they're the only barrels that add points to the recoil direction stat. The Horus Lease has a recoil direction stat of 55, and if you add the 30 points from Arrowhead Brake, you'll be at 80 recoil direction, while the 10 points from Chambered Compensator and Extended Barrel will bring your recoil direction stat up to 65. Slap a counterbalance mod on the Horus Lease and your recoil direction will be at 100 points with Arrowhead Brake and 80 points with Chambered Compensator and Extended Barrel. Now, if your Horus Lease has these same perks and a stability masterwork, you would have 80 recoil direction and 82 stability with Chambered Compensator. And with a stability stat that high, it's pretty likely you won't even miss the extra 20 points that you would get from Arrowhead Brake. Remember, the higher the stability stat is, that means that there's less riding on the recoil direction stat. Now, when it comes to Extended Barrel, the 10 points of range that it adds is amazing because the range on the 540 RPM pulses is never the best. I like Extended Barrel despite the fact that I didn't hype it up like I did for Arrowhead Brake and Chambered Compensator, but I wouldn't pick Extended Barrel over the other 2 because even though extra range is always good, you won't be able to engage targets at too long of a range if you can't control your weapon. Remember, controllability is what we're going for, especially due to the fact that most of Destiny 2's maps are super small and you should never have a problem with range on this weapon. SMALLBORE adds 7 points to the range and stability stats. Not super amazing, but definitely decent since you get a couple of points in 2 incredibly important stats. The same can be said for corkscrew rifling as it adds 5 points to range, stability, and handling. Not bad at all. FLUTEO barrel is also pretty good because it gives the highest handling increase at 15 points and 5 points to stability. Handling on the 540 RPM archetype of pulse rifles has always been pretty poor, so if you want your weapon to feel snappier, you can definitely get away with FLUTEO barrel. Hammerforged rifling adds 10 points to range, while polygonal rifling adds 10 points to stability. These perks are very similar in the sense that they both add 10 points to one particular stat, so if you don't have a range or stability masterwork, polygonal rifling and hammerforge would definitely fill in that gap for you. In my professional opinion, I would stay very far away from full bore. This barrel is counterproductive to the optimality of this weapon, and even though it adds 15 points of range, it cuts your handling and stability, which is exactly what you do not want at all. For the magazine perks, ones that stand out the most would be ricochet rounds and high caliber rounds. Ricochet rounds remind me a lot of D1's version of the SMALLBORE perk in the sense that you would get a range and stability increase with this perk. Ricochet rounds also causes your bullets to bounce off of hard surfaces, and even though it's impractical, you can get kills by bouncing your bullets off of walls. It's unlikely, but still possible. High caliber rounds have always been coveted on pulse rifles. Getting shot by a pulse rifle will make you flinch like crazy, and with high caliber rounds, you would literally be the biggest annoyance to any and everybody on the enemy team. Oh yeah, you also get 5 points of range from high caliber rounds as well. Extended mag is a solid perk since it bumps your magazine size up to 45 from 36, but it knocks 20 points off the reload speed stat, bringing it down from 41 to 21. The only way you could mitigate this is by not reloading unless you absolutely have to. 540 RPM pulses have alloy magazine built into their intrinsic perk, so I suggest using every round in your magazine and allowing your weapon to auto reload to get that faster reload from the intrinsic perk. If you're like me and have a reload problem, you know, when you reload your weapon after after shooting a bullet out of it one time, the slow reloads will be super annoying to deal with. Alloy magazine, which I said something about a few seconds ago, is a decent perk on this weapon because its reload speed bonus stacks with the reload speed bonus from the rapid fire frame intrinsic perk. This is cool and all, but alloy magazine definitely isn't something you should be going out of your way for to try to roll on your horror's lease. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I researched, appended mag adds 1 extra burst to your magazine, bringing the mag up from 36 to 29. Not really all that special, but whatever. Armor piercing rounds gives you an extra 5 points in range, but it does extra damage to shields, which is okay I suppose, but that isn't gonna do anything for the performance of your weapon. Flared magwell adds 5 stability and an amazing 15 points to your reload speed, while light mag adds 5 range and 10 reload speed. Both of these are decent options, but they pale in comparison to the benefits of ricochet rounds and high caliber rounds. Okay, now here's the fun part, the traits. I've been waiting the entire video to do these. In the first slot we have full auto, Zen moment, head seeker, rangefinder, and under pressure. The horror's lease is one of those rare cases where you have a higher chance of getting a good trait perk instead of a trash one, and in this case I'd say you either have a 3 out of 5 chance to get a good perk in its first trait list or a 4 out of 5. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Full auto, Zen moment, and rangefinder are all amazing perks. I love every last one of these perks. Under pressure isn't what I'd refer to as terrible, but it isn't necessarily the best either. Its benefits are noticeable, but you get more use out of the first 3 perks that I mentioned. Head seeker is absolute diarrhea, and I wish it never returned in Destiny 2. I'm not gonna get into why this perk sucks so badly, because Fallout Plays uploaded a thorough review on head seeker's terribleness, and you will find a link in this video's description box for it. So getting back to it. Full auto is a perk that works incredibly well on 540 RPM pulses, and if you ever used the Year 1 Trials pulse rifle known as Darkers before, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. That weapon had the full auto perk and was literally a dream to use, and it sometimes felt like I was using an auto rifle since the weapon shoots so quickly and my finger never had to leave the trigger. Contrary to popular belief, full auto won't make your weapon shoot any faster, but it will remove any delay between each burst. Zen moment has always felt amazing on pulse rifles, and low stability weapons like the 540 RPM pulses benefit from this perk greatly. Zen moment will give your weapon a stability bump of 66% after 3 rapid hits. The word rapid is used because you have a 1 second timer to damage an enemy again before the Zen moment buff resets, and the stability bonus you receive is always based off of your weapon's base stability. So if my math is right, after shooting somebody 3 consecutive times, the horror's lease will jump from 55 stability to 91. Again, that's if my math is right. So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Now, rangefinder on a horror's lease is just great. With this perk, your weapon will zoom in further during ADS, decreasing its damage fall off and enabling you to engage targets a bit more far away than usual. The list of perks that roll in the second trait list aren't anywhere as amazing as I've stated that the perks in the first trait list are, but in this list, the horror's lease can roll moving target, kill clip, high impact reserves, dragonfly, and ambitious assassin. You probably already know this, but kill clip is literally the best perk out of the 5 and the one perk that you should be going for over everything else. The optimal time to kill for the horror's lease and its archetype is 0.80 seconds, but when kill clip is proc, you can drop someone as fast as 0.67 seconds. Trust me when I say that it's the best feeling in the world to be able to 3 burst somebody in the body with this gun. My horror's lease roll with kill clip and it never lets me down. Moving on. Moving target is also a fairly viable option as well. When you're in a gunfight, your movement speed increases for your strafes and you get increased aim assist for your weapon. Very, very underrated perk, and the first 2 horror's lease that I got rolled with moving target, and it definitely made a difference in my gunfights in PvP. This weapon has an aim assist stat of 82, so it sticks to your targets like glue, but with moving target, your weapon will literally magnetize to the target. High impact reserve says that it increases your weapon's damage as the magazine gets lower, but you'll only be doing a couple points of extra damage, which does nothing for your overall TTK. Dragonfly and ambitious assassin are both PvE oriented perks, which is exactly where you should not be using a horror's lease, but I suppose if you could justify doing so, these 2 perks will perform decently, I guess. When it comes to masterworks, you can get away with anything, but I apologize in advance if you were unlucky and ended up getting a reload speed masterwork like I did. As stated earlier, stability is what you want to go for if controllability is your main focus, but range and handling are also amazing too. Once again, you're in good hands provided that you don't get a reload speed masterwork. work. My goodness, that was an information overload. I had a lot of fun putting this guide together because I want to see more people using the Horror's Lease in the Crucible, and I would love to see more people put this weapon on a pedestal like I do. I hope this guide was useful to anybody who watched it, and feel free to share this to any and every pulse rifle enthusiast that you know. But that does it for this one, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop me a like, and if you're new to my neck of the woods, do yourself a favor and subscribe to the channel for more elite gaming content. But with that being said, 1LHD is over and out. Y'all take it easy.
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.